All
Not
right.
yet.
Hello. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now. And welcome to technically the second day of the conference, which has been amazing. If you were able to follow up the first day, we had lots of very interactive discussions, very interesting perspectives from different parts of the world. And with the keynote sessions, we had, I think, very enjoyable, very inspiring moments as I was able to follow up some of them. So welcome to this, the first technical session of today. It's the Commission 3 Spatial Information Management first session. And our title is Geospatial Analytics Use Cases. My name is Cemal Özgür Kıvılcım, and I'm the chair of the Working Group 3.6 Geospatial Next chair. And the Geospatial Next is this is the recent working group of the Commission 3, which aims to follow up the trends and the changes in the world regarding to the new perspectives, new skills that the surveyors are required to gain. So, and today we will have, unfortunately, we have 5 papers, but as far as I can see, we have only 2 speakers at this moment. So I just would like to give, meanwhile, we wait for a minute or so, we can talk about the one thing, what I can say one thing about yesterday, as the ESRI's founder, Jack Dangermond, was addressing, that he was presenting different perspectives and different applications, and each thing he was putting a geo in the beginning. It's either geojournalism, geoanalytics, geospatial. It's all solutions derived from data, geodata, and to make a contribution to the society to solve problems. And geospatial analytics is the key, is the backbone of all these issues. And I was in the morning here in Istanbul right now. I was just scrolling through the news, and I have seen that within like a few years, because of the pandemic we had, the value of the geospatial analytics is expected to increase 4 times within like 5 years. It's all because we have been talking as the surveyors as geospatial analytics importance and its applications, but of course the pandemic has changed. It was a game changer. So and we have seen lots of things coming up, and we will go through all these things hopefully, and we will have some more time for the after the presentations. I would like to introduce also David. David will be helping me, as he's a Young Surveyors member, Young Surveyors Network member, and he will be helping me with technical issues, and we will have some questions for you in the poll section, and I appreciate if you also help us. And meanwhile, as it was on the screen, I would like to introduce our first speaker. Shere Akbarian is a PhD student in University of New South Wales from Australia, and she's looking forward to finishing her PhD, she said just before we entered to live. And she's going to present her paper regarding with the title Analysis of Solar Potential in an Urban Area Using LiDAR Data, a study of Belgium. And I would like to emphasize on that this is a peer-reviewed paper for the FIGE working week, and we all know that FIG has lots of technical sessions, but also we would like to see more and more peer-reviewed papers to increase the quality of the publications. And Shari, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. Unfortunately, because of some technical issue, I couldn't able to present my work live. I just record my presentation and I want to share with you. After that, I am here to answer any question. Thank you again. Let me share the video file. Everyone, I am Shara Akbarian and I want to give you a 60-minute presentation about our study. Our study aims to map solar potential across an urban area located in Belgium using LiDAR data and remote sensing technology. Currently, half of the world's population lives in urban areas, and that this number will increase to 60% in 2 decades. Cities consume a considerable amount of energy, but they can also produce it. Using solar energy to meet this energy demand doesn't just make cities more environmentally friendly, it may actually save your money as well. So it's a win-win situation. One of the desired surfaces in urban areas to install a photovoltaic system and capture the highest amount of the solar energy is building roofs. Of course, the viability depends on geographical location, time of the day or season, or even surrounding object. But one of the most important factors affecting the PV solar system efficiency is shading, due to adjacent structure and vegetated areas. The source data used in this study was high-precision LiDAR data gathered from Belgium in 2015 and made publicly available by IEEE committee. The process started with the DSM generation. The LiDAR data was processed by using the morphological algorithms to create the DSM. The resulting DSM is useful to present 3D man-made or natural objects and also provide the basis for the solar potential analysis. The DSM is filtered by selecting only the points that are classified as a ground and the remaining is DTM. Then a raster file as an NDSM is created by subtracting the DTM value from the DSM values. Before starting the solar potential calculation, the resulting NDSM for the study area needs to be segmented into different surfaces based on important factors such as slope and aspect. The essential factors for filtering of roof surfaces are slope and aspect. The slope and aspect angles are calculated for each cell of NDSM by surface normal vector. A Reggian-Garon algorithm followed is applied to segment the roof surface according to the factors of slope, aspect, and height derived from NDSM, and then selecting the segment based on the proper feature. The last step is incorporating the PVGIS data to estimate shadow values and calculate solar potential. PVGIS is a public web surface that is available to access the amount of solar radiation, direct or diffuse, for each pixel of the segmented areas. To maximize efficiency of the method and to keep it simple, we use 3 different times during a day and 4 seasons of a year to calculate the solar radiation for each segment. This is the result of shadow map. The shadow at different times and places vary due to difference in azimuth and elevation of solar angles. The total time dependent solar radiation is estimated through the first equation, using the data derived from PVGIS, direct and diffuse radiation, and calculate the shadow amount. The fully shadow point receive only diffuse radiation, and areas that are partially shadowed receive reduced amount of direct irradiance. Next equation is used to calculate the average of solar radiation in each season for each cell. And finally, the solar potential is calculated as the average of solar radiation, shown in the previous equation, to the maximum amount among the season to rate solar potential between 0 to 1, according to the table. The value determined by this study can be used in order to craft a useful consumer-focused tool. For example, total yearly solar radiation in kilowatt per hour can be combined with determined proper facet for PV installations, or a total installation cost can be estimated. The most important features of this study are its potential for further use in accurate modeling of building roofs and estimation of the related feature to select the most proper surfaces for PV installation, or precise calculation of shadow on each roof surfaces. Moreover, this method can be adopted anywhere that LiDAR data has been gathered. Future work should focus on the overall assessment of solar potential on roof surfaces and vertical walls together for receiving a maximum solar potential in all seasons of a year. Because dust and snow are less absorbed by the vertical walls compared to the roof surfaces due to their vertical slope. The vertical walls also have at least two surfaces with opposite direction, which can absorb the maximum solar energy at the different times. Thank you for listening to this presentation.
So, as I can see, if we have some questions in the QA, please go ahead and ask Shari now, because it takes some time to questions to access us.
Okay.
But meanwhile, I have some questions, Shari. Do you have any indicators in your research? This is, I think, very important as we all try to go renewable energy consumption in the near future because of the issues, the climate crisis, and these issues are pretty worldwide. It's a global matter that everybody needs to produce solutions on this. I just would like to know, have you had any experiences about the technology in the solar panels structure, their efficiency, when you were doing this research? By means of different systems, like how to some styles, like there is this, like panels that can be converting themselves like, based on the to catch up the more sun.
Sorry, but if I got your question correctly, our study is not related to the efficiency of solar system panels. It's about the finding the proper location for installing PV or solar panel. It's about that. It's about the finding that location regard to different factors to install them.
Yeah, I understand that. My question was because there is different types of, I'm not very familiar, these different types of photovoltaic systems. Yeah. There are systems that is sun oriented, and other systems like stable, like they don't move. Was there any difference between them in your, like, as a input parameter?
No, unfortunately.
I understand. And what about the vegetational effects? I went through the paper also. You also recommend that the vertical surfaces. Maybe you would like to say a couple of words about how the vertical surfaces could be beneficial for further usage.
Vertical actually, I believe that vertical surfaces couldn't work longly without horizontal surface, couldn't perform very perfect. They need to be a combination of roof surfaces with vertical surfaces. As you said, vegetation area, vegetated area is very effective on the vertical walls. So it could directly affect the performance of vertical walls. So it's the reason that I said as a future work, the combination of both of type of surface could work for having a perfect efficiency from solar system. But actually, because the methodology is calculating the amount of shadow that comes out from trees or comes out from man-made object. So when we want to work on the vertical walls, we can exclude all areas that have shadows from trees or vegetated area, and exclude all of these surfaces and only work on the surfaces without any kind of the shadow.
Mm-hmm. I understand. That's pretty interesting, and I understand the lidar is a key game changer in this for acquiring the data. I don't know if we have any other questions from the audience. Please, um, please go and ask your questions. But we will have some time after our second speaker as well. If there are no questions at this moment, you can ask later on, because we will have and I hope we will have a fruitful discussion all together right after the presentation. So thank you, Shara, and we'll.
Thank you.
Thank you. So our next speaker is Shakti Prakash from Nepal. Um, with the presentation title Agricultural Drought Vulnerability Assessment of Tanauhan District, Nepal. Okay, Shakti, hi.
Yes, sir. I can
And
hear
the
you.
floor is yours. Shakti is it's from Nepal. This paper is a good example, actually, about how the new generation, young generation, could get together and make important projects for not only like small areas but like region wise. Shakti, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Well, greetings, everyone. Namaste. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the people from the different parts of the world. Well, my name is Shakti Prakash Joshi, and I am from Nepal. I am going to present my paper, Agriculture Drought Vulnerability Assessment of Southern District, Nepal, based on Commission 3 Geospatial Analytics use cases. I want to share my screen. Due to some technical sessions, I can't, I can't on my webcam. So I'm going to share my screen. You can, you can see while I say and present at this moment. Mm. Yeah. So my name is Shakti Prakash Joshi. I want to say it again. And the project title is Agriculture Drought Vulnerability Assessment of Tanau District, Nepal. So we have uh, so let's get started. As we can see in the alongside figure, the impacts of drought, what actually the drought is, the plants are not growing properly, there's a crack in the soil. So these are some examples of drought. So let's get started. Actually, drought is a slow onset natural hazard that occurs over a considerable period of time. It actually occurs due to the deficiency of precipitation, and uh, the deficiency of precipitation occurs either from subnormal rainfall, erratic rainfall distribution, higher water need, or a combination of all these factors. Actually, the droughts is classified into three types: the meteorological drought, which is caused due to reduced rainfall; hydrological drought, which is caused due to reduced surface water; and agricultural drought, which is caused due to reduced soil moisture. In this project, we entirely focus on agricultural drought, which occurs due to the uh, complex and non-linear interactions between weather, soil, crop, and human actions. And it requires information related to rainfall, vegetation pattern in spatial temporal dimensions. Because in agricultural drought, we need the time data, and we have used multiple images from different seasons and multiple years, so that we can see how the drought has been encountered in the different parts of Tano district, Nepal. Actually, there are two major impacts of drought. They are referred as direct and indirect impact. A direct impact, for example, reduced crop and forest productivity, increased fire hazard, reduced water level, damage to wildlife and fish habitat. And indirect impacts are the result of direct impacts. For example, a reduction in crop and forest productivity may either result in reduced income for farmers and increased prices for food and timber, unemployment, etc. So these are the drought is generally classified as direct and indirect, and it has a huge impact over the people and the surroundings.
Shakti,
Yes,
Shakti,
sir.
could you please put your presentation in presentation mode? Because we only see your first screen.
Oh, I have.
We don't
I
see
have.
the slides move.
Oh, uh,
And
just I
then
have.
full screen.
Just you have seen my first screen only.
Yeah, only your first slide.
Uh, Slide editor, presenting view. So I have to enter slides, right?
Yeah, if you could go back a few slides.
Uh,
Ah,
Share screen, share
yeah, share screen.
video, PowerPoint. Now, now you can see my screen.
Yes, but it's only it's not in presentation mode.
Uh, where do I find those presentation mode, sir?
Yeah, I think there one of I can see your mouse hovering. Yeah, I think it's somewhere there. It's very
Uh,
small, so I can't say for sure.
Slide slow.
Yeah, I think on the right. Are you now with your mouse? Yeah, that's the one, I guess.
Uh, Stop sharing. You can see my page changing or just a first page.
No, no, we now see the slide with objectives.
Objectives, but it can't. But you can't see my page changing.
No, we can't see the presentation mode. So that's not a big problem, but then, yeah, we see all the other slides and the bar at the top of the PowerPoint and so on. So
Okay, okay. If I do. Uh, Now you can see my study area presentation, or just
yeah, now we see the slide with the study, and now objectives and now study area.
now?
Now we can see data and software used.
Okay, okay. Now fine. Now that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can fix for a little time. Okay. Can I
Yeah.
continue? Can I
Yeah, you
continue?
can continue, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So well, there are two main objectives in our project. We have primary objective to identify the agricultural drought risk zone of a project area. So also we have two secondary objectives to analyze the pattern of rainfall and vegetation index and to prepare the LULC map. As you know, LULC means land use land cover map, which provides information about the environmental situation. Coming up to next slide, here is our study area, the red highlighted map inside the Nepal, the central region. We, that's our study area, and it lies within the UTM zone 44 and 45, and have a total area 1546 square kilometer. It's not a huge area, but for a study purpose, we have taken one district for our research purpose from student view. Uh, in our project, you use different type of data and software. We use Landsat 7 and Landsat 8 imaginary digital maps, digital maps, and also the most important thing, that's the monthly precipitation data of 10 rainfall stations for a period of 10 years that ranges from 2007 to 2016. The location of the precipitation rainfall stations are shown in the map. You can easily visualize and analyze them. Um, and For the research purpose, we have used GIS, EMS Office, and ADAS Imagine to make maps, to do calculation, and for the analysis and to calculate indices. So here is the main content of the project. That's the methodology, which is extremely important to continue the project in a sustained manner. So in the methodology, first of all, we had collected the satellite imaginary and meteorological data. In satellite imaginary, we have collected the satellite imaginary and calculate the EMSI, NDVI, and mean NDVI values, as well as NDVI anomaly. In the similar manner, from the meteorological data, we have extracted the seasonal rainfall data from April, May, and June, and calculate the SPI and mean rainfall. And we have also see the relationship between mean NDVI and mean rainfall, how those data are how those data were correlated. So we find a positive correlation. So we find these indices are fine. We can work with it, and using those EMSI, NDVI anomaly, and SPI, we have reclassified using weighted overlay analysis. We have ranked, and finally prepared a drought risk vulnerability map. And finally, after preparing the drought risk map, we have validated using Google Maps and photos of the local region, that is Tanau district. So what actually the NDVI means is it provides the relationship of greenness. That is how green the features are, how green area is. So it uses two bands, that is NIR band and red band. So it's really an extremely important in this index for calculation, for drought risk calculation. Here is an NDVI anomaly calculation. We have used mean NDVI and NDVI max values to calculate the NDVI anomaly. And in the map, we can see a green and red region. There is a value of 100% minus 100%, where 100% indicates the low deviation from mean NDVI and minus 100% shows the high deviation from mean NDVI. So the next index was SPI, that's Standard Precipitation Index, which is calculated using seasonal precipitation and long-term seasonal precipitation. From the SPI, we can extract the meteorological drought. We are entirely focused on agriculture drought, but we have also calculated the meteorological drought so that we can further define our drought index in a proper way. We can strengthen our agriculture drought risks. So we can see the severity levels in the site map. In the site map, we can see the red area, which is extremely dry in the south left region. Similarly, we have calculated the EMSI, the thought index, moisture index, which calculates the moisture index and moisture condition, and it value ranges from 0 to 4, and it uses SWIR, RDNIR bands. After that, after calculating the EMSI, SPI, and NDVI anomaly, we use this weighted overlay analysis. For we don't know how impactful those indexes are uh, at initial process. So we have to see how impactful those indices are, and based on the research and papers and discussion, we have concluded that the SPI has influence of 50%, MSI has influence of 40%, NDVI anomaly has influence of 10%, 10%, and we have ranked from 1 to 5 based on the classes. After that, we come to the final, almost final slides, which is the result of our project. The final result was a drought risk map. Drought risk map was prepared, and the area was classified into no risk, light, moderate, high, and very high risk zone. Um, in the left side, the table, we can see the area covered based on percentage, and in the right hand side, we can see map, the risk levels. Um, as we can see from the table and map, the very right, the area is covered um, with very high risk level of 1.02%, and we can see a maximum value, that is 48.8% area is at it has high drought risk level, uh, which we can see in the map, in alongside map. Uh, the drought risk map is the primary objective. So also we have prepared the LULC map, which we can see here. We have a table at the left and map at the right. The table includes the area in square kilometer as well as coverage in percentage. So we can easily analyze and visualize with the table as well as map. So this really cool stuff. We can see the agriculture area has 455.41 square kilometer, which has coverage of 29.5%, and we can analyze the ANLO part. The ANLO is a based agriculture area. Yeah, we can analyze in this way. So after based on findings and what we have done till now, we come to the final recommendations. What we can do, what we can suggest to the people based on the drought risk calculations, based on what we find. So we have two recommendations for the people and for the further project extension. We have recommendation number one: prioritization and implementation of site-specific adaptations should be made based on such uh, identification of risk levels of specific locations. And second recommendation is, we know the agriculture drought severity levels vary spatially, so the selection of agriculture technology and information should be made to fit into the agriculture drought severity levels. So this is all for now. If you have any questions or if you want to get contact with me, I am happy to help, and I am happy to learn. Well, this is all for now. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Sahti. That was a very interesting presentation as well. It is very important, I think, the topic that you have been working on this with this paper. And I would like to ask one question before we go through the other one. How would you like to continue this work? Because you are a fresh graduate from the bachelor, is that right?
Yes, sir, that's true. That's true. I am a fresh graduate, and I do research with this type of aspects. So in the further days, I want to conduct this type of research, agricultural research, or something like natural type of research with the involvement of an adaptation of machine learning approach.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice. And is is there any questions yet? There seems no questions at this moment. If you have any questions, please go and put into the QA so that we could also address it to Sakti. If not, I would like to thank you also for your presentation, and maybe we can go a bit more informal right now. We can have both of the presenters, since as is in the beginning of our session, I explained that unfortunately we have only 2 presenters available out of 5. So if you have questions for Shari or Sakti, please go through the QA and we can also go through the ask me anything session as if this is how you feel like. And we had a small poll just to warm up you for the session. I don't know if anyone has seen as well, and it will be nice if you also fill in this. Meanwhile, I can ask one question, Shari, to you. You use a data set from Belgium,
Yeah.
if I'm right. And what was the reason for that? Was it because of urbanization or data source?
It's because of data source, because I wanted to work on an urban area, and the data gathered from this area was free, so I selected this area. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So okay. And this was an open data set from Belgium,
Yeah.
or was it? It was
Yeah,
open.
it's open. Yep.
I think
You
go ahead,
you can download the data from IEEE website.
Mm-hmm.
This data is gathered in 2015 from Zeeberg. Yeah, it's a high density point cloud LiDAR data.
Mm-hmm. You would agree the importance of open data, especially for the LiDAR. I think it's very difficult for any researcher all around to access the point cloud data set.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the machine learning applications within specifically in your research paper? How do you see they intersect and do they compete or they?
Actually, our work has a 2 important steps. One is about the roof surface classification, that machine learning algorithm could be a very good suggestion for this part. And we can consider more than slope aspect and height features, and any other factors that can be affected on the selection and classification of roof surfaces. But for shadow detection part, I'm not sure that the machine learning can work on this part. But for classification step, it would be great. And I'm sure that with machine learning algorithm, the accuracy and precision of the classification outcome will be enhanced. So it could be a good suggestion for a future work.
Mm-hmm. I see. Thanks a lot. And Sakti, one question about the seasonal effects, the winter, the summer. What do you how do you consider this effect in your work? If you hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Just in our project, we have used only April, May, and June data. because at that time there is reduced amount of moisture, and we want to see the impacts of reduced moisture in terms of drought in the crop in the crop and timbers, etc. So we have entirely focused in the reduced moisture season, that is April, May, and June in Nepal. So uh, we can use I had read many researches about this type of data, which what type of data we must use. So we can either you can do based on year wise, or you can do based on seasonality. You can either do based on months. So it's entirely based on research for what purpose we are doing our project. Uh, so we had done our research for from a student perspective at the time. So we want to grasp this knowledge, how impactful the drought was in this reduced moisture condition. And also we have only selected the small part or small region of Nepal, because we don't have enough time at that instant. So we want to know how impactful and what to do in the agriculture drought strategy. In the further days to come, I want to do some more stuffs with this, and I want to include much more machine learning algorithms, so that we can't need to do those things again and again. We can do in a machine learning approach, so that if we enter the data in the system, then it can finally visualize the final output. So it will be time efficient for everyone. Uh, it's entirely based on the resource purpose and resource extent, as well as resource uh, uh, for the for what purpose we are doing the research. So in our we can so in our region we had used this season April, May, and June for the time where the soil moisture condition is low. Do you hear me?
I do hear you. Who's that?
Me myself, Sakti.
Hello?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we all hear
I
you.
do hear you. Who's that? Me myself.
Hello? Okay. Um, yeah, I checked the polls meanwhile, but it looks like nobody voted, actually. So I don't know how many of us in the session. I can't even see that. Um, I just want to start one question for you about machine learning and AI. How aware of you and what do you think about the project that you did? Uh, how would it go through machine learning algorithms? Do you have any idea about this?
Uh, yes, I am just learning this type of things. I am quite interested in programming. Just I have knowledge about I have knowledge of Python and a bit little knowledge about the R. So I have also deep interest in machine learning approach, the supervised classification, unsupervised classification, this type of regression model. So I'm just searching and researching about this kind of stuff. How could I adapt this type of algorithms so we can do the work in a faster way and in a proper way. So it's really an important aspect for me, and I'm in the learning process.
Mhm. Okay, we have one question from our commission chair, Hartmut Müller, to Shariri. Did you think about shadows caused by trees and other vegetation?
Yeah, I just explained in the presentation that when I calculating the shadow of the surrounding object, I just consider the trees and vegetation that maybe make an abstract between the way of the sounds to the destination object. Yeah, I consider all of kind of the object, man-made and natural object, for calculating the shadow effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we have one more question. How to classify the LULC? Are you using OBIA from Danny Lumban Raja?
Is it
Okay, I
related
can
to my
answer.
study? Oh, yeah.
I
I
think
think it's
that's me.
for Safti.
Yeah. So LULC land use land cover is actually a huge concept. It requires a lot of tasks to do. So in our project, is we placed LULC as a minor objective because we are more focused on drought risk zones. So we use LULC just to see what is the environmental situation of that area. To calculate LLC, I don't know about this term OBIA at this time, but we have what we did. I can explain to you. So in LULC, we had entirely used unsupervised classification because it is of least importance for our project, just as it is secondary objective for us, as we are focused on drought risk zones of the area. So in LULC, we have done unsupervised classification based on the reflectance and based on the light levels. And after that, after classifying those area, doing unsupervised classification, we had validated through Google Earth images, Google Earth image, nothing more than that. Uh, so that's all what we have done with the LULC.
Thank you. I hope that was the answer that Danny was looking for. Any other questions? I do not see any. And maybe we can conclude the session here and switch to AMA, Ask Me Anything question for more informal discussion, and we can talk about also the participants can also interact with us further for a while. Is that Heiko? Maybe you can guide us in this because I don't see any questions.
Yes, yes, Jamal. I will put the link of to go to this AMA session in the chat. But you, as a participant, they can also go to the overview of the sessions area within Hopin and have a look there, because they can choose from a number of these Ask Me Anything sessions. But I will put a link in the chat box of this technical session. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much. So once again, meanwhile, I would like to thank you for being with us in this technical session, and we will be continuing through the Ask Me Anything session. It's very important. Geospatial analysis is very key, becoming a very key player in the whole human activities, human and environmental matters. So I believe next year we will see more and more applications and different things that we even don't think about it at this moment. And hopefully you will stay with us with the Ask Me Anything session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the participation, and thank you for the opportunity.
Mhm. And let's click on the next link. That's